Greg, reports coming through that Yahya Sinwar, the accused mastermind of the October 7 attack on Israel, has been named as the new Hamas political chief. What else do we know about him, and what direction are we likely to see Hamas take, do you think, under his leadership?
Yeah, this is a significant shift in leadership, Ash. We were just talking about the assassination, we think, by Israel of Ismail Haniyeh, who, clearly involved in this terrorist organization. Hamas had blood on his hands himself, but was somebody who could negotiate with factions and negotiate with things like ending conflict and hostage exchanges. Yahya Sinwar, we know quite a lot about. He spent a couple of decades of his life in Israeli prisons where he learned fluent Hebrew, and not just that, came to understand Israeli ways of thinking politically and socially. He is, literally a terrorist mastermind. He, we believe, planned the October 7th attack from within the Gaza Strip, probably not communicating to the likes of Ismail Haniyeh from the political wing outside Gaza. And he was laying a trap for Israel. He was setting a trap that he calculated Israel would respond to and walk into. And arguably they've done just that. He's still safe in his underground bunker in Gaza, as far as we know. Certainly not dead. Now not just leading from Gaza, but leading the whole of Hamas. This is bad news because we don't expect that he has much appetite for hostage negotiations. He's very much committed to this idea of martyrdom. He's happy to drag the people of Gaza down into the grave if it somehow advances the political cause as he understands it. That's pretty grim and pretty dark, but that's his read. He's a formidable force, and things have just got much tougher. I feel sorry for the hostage families and everyone else who caught up in this, people of Gaza included, because it seems less likely we're going to have a cessation of this conflict now.
Greg, meantime, a Pakistani man with ties to Iran has now been charged with plotting assassinations of the former President Donald Trump and also other political leaders in the US. Do we know much about that plot, and would you expect there are others like that in the pipeline ahead of the US election? Obviously, security very tight after the last assassination attempt on Donald Trump.
Yeah, that last assassination attempt got far too close to succeeding. There was a real lapse in intelligence there, in coordination between the special service and local law enforcement, it would appear. So this plot that's been thankfully interrupted, this guy was dealing with people who were undercover FBI officers, but he was serious, it would appear, and they allege at least, in terms of trying to procure somebody who would take a shot against a candidate or president. We don't know much more than those details. It's not surprising that there'd be something like this attempted. It would be expected there'd be other plots. Iran is in a very weak position. It can't afford a regional war. It can't, it has limited resources, but it has enough resources to use this fairly cheap ways of trying to get some impact. So that's the danger. This sort of asymmetrical conflict. Russia's in a similar position as well. And I think we've been too blasé about the fact that fairly small amounts of money, whether it's disinformation or hiring people to act in physical attacks, fairly small amounts of money can have outside results if they get lucky. And that's a scary thought.
Certainly is. Let's hope it doesn't get to that. Professor Greg Barton, always appreciate your insights. Thanks for joining us.